Okay, welcome everybody, and we're going to begin right away with Sue Bird, Breanna Stewart, and Jewell Loyd. We're going to begin with questions right away. We're going to start front row center right here.
Oh, Percy's here.
Jake, go right in here. Go right in here. Don't be
Good
shy.
morning, ladies. Congratulations on making the All-Star team. This question is basically for all three of you. For Breanna and Jewell, what is it like just being back at the All-Star game and then also playing your last All-Star game with Sue Bird? And Sue, what is it like for you just to be here and this is going to be your last All-Star break? What memories do you have previous All-Star games?
It's always an honor to be back at the All-Star game. It's really a way to celebrate the success of yourself and your other teammates around you, and just have a good time, take a pause from the WNBA season for a second. And I'm really happy to share the court with these two, especially Sue. Selfishly wanted to trade for her just to be able to share the court with her for her last All-Star. And I think for Jewell and I, we just want to play with her as much as possible. So if we can be on her team, then we will.
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to be at the All-Star game. For me, the best part of All-Star is, yes, playing with your own teammates, but also getting to just spend time with some of the other players that you're usually competing against. So getting to know them, playing with them, like I said, those are some of my fondest memories. And I'm just going to try to enjoy it the same way this time.
Next question will come from the front row to your right.
Annie Constable from the Chicago Sun-Times. BG has been at the forefront of all of your guys' conversations throughout the season. Now that All-Star is taking center stage in the sports landscape right now and this weekend, how does that communication shift at all for all of you guys this weekend?
I know. It doesn't really shift. We obviously did the rally yesterday. I think for all of us, we just want to always keep BG's name at the forefront in everything we do. So, yeah, every now and then we'll answer questions about All-Star and talk about the basketball, but you're going to see her name on the back of all of our shirts. Ta-da! And so, like I said, it doesn't really shift. We want it to always be there.
Okay, our next two questions will come from your left, third row left.
Hi, Remy Tuman with the New York Times. It feels like we're at this moment with the W. Sue, you're retiring. It kind of feels like a transitioning of eras. We have all this momentum around the league. You have the most amount of eyeballs on the sport that we've had ever. What would you like to see the league keep doing to keep that momentum going? How do we keep it going?
I actually think we have finally, in some ways, cracked the code a little bit. So the answer to this question 4 years ago would have been different. I feel like now what we've done is able to kind of establish a foundation of who we are as a league, a foundation of, how we want to market ourselves, the ways in which we want to represent ourselves. And so to me, it's just about following the path that we finally figured out. That's really, I think, what's going to push things forward. And of course, continue to put pressure on, the powers that be, because in my mind, I'm sure you guys would agree with this, when the TV deal is up in 2 years, that to me that's the moment. And so I think we just have to continue down this path, keep doing what we've been doing, and then when they start negotiations for that could really break things open and change the entire trajectory of our league.
First row to your left.
Hi, this is for Stewie. I'm curious if you could talk about why you picked Jackie, in addition to obviously being, with you because of Puma. What was it about her that sort of, why you wanted to pick her?
I picked Jackie for a number of reasons. Obviously, she's having an amazing year. She's just really, I think, finding her confidence and understanding what she can do, especially stretching to the three and knocking that down consistently. But, wanting to have great players on my roster, and, from the list to choose from, they're all great. So there's really no wrong answer. I had the Sue's trade in my back pocket. So I wanted to make sure that I got guards. I got a player that was like versatile. She can play multiple positions, and also, like you said, she's a part of the Puma family. So I had to get her on my team.
And to follow up, not only Jackie, but Sabrina and Ryan, and I think Kelsey Plum. Those are all people that are first-time All-Stars, and they're also #1 picks. So I'm curious as to what advice you have for those people in that group for their first All-Star.
Advice I have for the first-time All-Stars is to really just enjoy the moment. I think, I touched on it earlier, especially this season. It's such a condensed season. We have a lot of games. You're always on go mode, go mode, go mode. And this is an opportunity to celebrate your success. Enjoy it, appreciate it, and also make you hungrier for what's to come.
All right, next question, fourth row to your left.
Ben Pickman from Sports Illustrated. For Sue and Stewie, specifically, Sil, this is obviously her last year. I guess I would ask you guys, one, what's your best Sil story from your Olympic experience? And Stewie, for you specifically as a big, what have you learned from playing alongside her?
What I've learned from Sil playing alongside her is just the fact that she's constantly working. She never stops. She obviously has her frame that she uses to her advantage. I think the thing that I enjoy the most is sharing the court with her, like playing with her and not playing against her. And now we'll play against her again tomorrow. But Sil is someone that's an amazing person, an amazing player, and really has touched many lives off the court. And yeah, she's going to go down as one of the best to ever do it.
The first time I met Sil was actually right after, not directly after she finished college, but after her first season, she came to play in Russia. So we played on the same team overseas. So she was probably 22, 23. And my first memory is her coming to practice and every post player being like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to have to guard her. Everybody really being intimidated by the way she played. And that's a compliment because we had some of the best post players in the world on our team at the time. So that's really my first memory of her on the court, and obviously that has sustained throughout her entire career. My memory of her off the court is just, you're overseas, there's a lot of downtime. Sil was always down to cook for the team, always down to be that teammate that was kind of there to nurture. And I'm sure if you've followed her career, that's exactly who she is. She's been that, through the course of her entire career. She's been that, I think especially in the last couple years in Minnesota, just really helped those younger players. And that's who she is at the core. So not much changed. She's only gotten better, but not much has changed in terms of who she is from when she was 22, 23 to now.
Next question will come from the second row to your left.
Sue, Asia Wilson talked yesterday about the Olympics and how afterward you had told her that the team was now in her hands and Stewie's hands. Do you feel like, especially now that they're co-captains, that this league is now in their hands?
Oh, yeah. These two have been neck and neck for the MVP race in the WNBA, neck and neck for the MVP, even as teammates with USA Basketball. So I think they're really starting to establish themselves as players who can be the names for this league, players who can represent this league, players who are going to set the bar in terms of what that MVP player looks like, right? Like what it means to be consistent every year. That's how I would describe those two. So I've talked to Stewie about it as well. It's not lip service. They are really the future, especially when it comes to USA Basketball. And like I said, I think more than anything, it comes with setting that bar, setting that standard of what it is to be the best player in the world.
Next question from the right, fourth row.
Hey ladies, Josh Friedman with WGN TV. Jewell, this is a homecoming for you. How many friends and family do you have coming for the weekend for tomorrow's game? And what are your fondest memories of growing up in the Chicago area and playing hoops?
Yeah, it's always a great pleasure to be back in the city, see my family and friends. I just have a small group of friends that I've been close with since I was little, and they're coming out to support me, and that's what it's about. And obviously there's Nike Nationals and stuff like that, so I know the teams that are playing. But yeah, no, it's super special to be back home for sure, and I'm just excited to see my family, see my nieces and nephew tomorrow, and yeah, put on a show.
Next question to your right in the first row.
Jewell, what would it mean to win the three-point contest at home? I mean, you have some stiff competition, Valley Quigley, Kelsey Plumbing. What would it mean to come out on top of an event in your hometown?
You know, I'm just gonna get reps up for it tomorrow because I know it's a 4-point, stuff. So I'm just practicing for the game, So that's all I'm worried about.
Also to your right in the front row.
Hi, Sue, Jay Cohen, Associated Press. Two quick questions. I was wondering, when you were at the White House the other day, were you able to speak with President Biden at all about Brittney Griner? And secondly, I was wondering if you could share some of your favorite All-Star Game memories from over the year, anything that really kind of stands out to you as you look back.
Yeah, I didn't have personal time with President Biden, but Megan did. And as we all know, on the lapel of her jacket, she had BG's initials embroidered and flowers. And I know Megan has taken the opportunities in those moments when she's been able to speak to the president to talk about BG. So I do know that. Favorite All-Star memories. God, I think the first one that comes to mind is who knows what year? Don't ask me. We were in Connecticut. It's been there a bunch of times, so literally no idea. But at the end of the game was kind of over. And we just kind of let Michelle Snow get some dunks in. I think it was Lisa Leslie maybe. I could be wrong, I can't remember. But definitely Michelle Snow. And I feel like that was really the first time that we were kind of seeing that in the All-Star game. And I just remember the players being really excited, the fans being really excited. It was a good show.
Next question, first row to your left. Lila, go ahead.
Lila Bromberg, the Hartford Current. Sue, Sue, how have you seen just the All-Star game, evolve over the years to the point where it is now, and what stands out the most to you in terms of the progress to what, the weekend is now?
I couldn't hear that second part.
Just what stands out to you in terms of the progress for All-Star weekend
Progress
and
for
kind of
All-Star?
where
Okay.
it is now compared to where it's been kind of when you've just gone for the league?
Yeah, to be honest, this particular All-Star marks, I think, a big change in terms of the excitement and the events surrounding the game. This is really the first year where we've had multiple parties where different brands are hosting different events. And last night, Brand Jordan had a party. They had a performer. I mean, these are the types of things that you see at other All-Star weekends, and that really hasn't been the case for us. We've usually had the WNBA always does some sort of reception, but we're talking parties. People want to be seen at these parties. People want to go, and I think it really does mark a big difference in terms of the excitement. As far as the game goes, I have to admit, through the years, there's been, some games have been better than others. Some hosts have been better than others. But for the most part, the standard for the actual game, the event from a player perspective, it's been pretty consistent. I think it's been pretty high level and pretty consistent. Like I said, some better than others. But to me, it's the excitement around the game, throughout the community. And I know it sounds silly, but the parties matter. I think they represent something different in the world of cultural capital. So that's kind of exciting to see that happen this year, and I hope it continues.
Time for about two more questions in the room. First row center.
Sue, another one for you. James Wade talked about early in his career spending some time working with you. Mm-hmm. Can you share?
Trying to guard me, that's what it was.
He did. He said it was some battles. Some battles happened. From your perspective, what was that like, and how much are you looking forward to rejoining him on the court this weekend?
I mean, myself, James, his wife Edwige, we have some amazing memories. I played against Edwige for many years overseas. James was always around, and then Edwige played for Seattle, and James was a practice player. So I feel like I've been around James, so much of my career. There's little stories with James embedded in there. So when he actually he obviously started as an assistant, but when he got a head coaching job, I was like, oh, it was just a matter of time. There was just something about him. He was always paying attention, right? Always observing, paying attention. He was always around. So as he kind of climbed through and eventually got that head coaching job, none of it was surprising. But yeah, he always he jokes. He's like, I had to be hard on you in practice so my wife could get some playing time. I was like, that's not fair. That's not fair.
One more question in the room. Your left, third row.
Remy again with the Times. This is for Stewie and Jewell. I'll pose the same question to you that I did to Sue. Do you feel like you guys that she's passed the torch off to you guys now? Where do you want to see the league go next? What kind of steps do you think they need to take to keep the momentum going around the attention?
I think we've learned, and we're still learning from Sue. I have a big notebook of stuff that she's taught me over the couple of years. It's nice and thick, and
Sell that.
yeah, I should. I think we want to make sure that we continue her legacy, and our legacy, and I think that's just treating the game with respect, going about everything as professional as possible, but adding our personality in it as well. And I think we're doing that now. Obviously Stewie's shoe, making sure you guys go get it, as well as mine. But so things like that. I think that's the evolution of just who we're becoming. But we learned a lot from Sue, and we're trying to do our best to make sure we could sustain that, and then hopefully pass it on to the next generation of hoopers.
Yeah, I mean, going off of that, I think, just understanding all that Sue has done for the game and appreciating that, and also sharing these moments with her, and being genuine and making sure that, as we continue to strive for more in the WNBA and the more for women in sports, things like that, that, we are honest with who we are and what we do, and at the same time, putting the league and endorsements and companies in uncomfortable positions that maybe they haven't been in before, where they need to get to, so then we can set the standard for something new.
All right, we're going to have one question from Zoom. Pepper Persley, go ahead. Pepper?
Hi. So 2 questions. First for Sue, what are you most looking forward to in your last All-Star game?
Really just to have fun. I know it sounds kind of small, but it's not. It's not. This is a weekend that is always enjoyable, and you only get one a summer. This is obviously my last, so I'm just going to have fun with it.
All right, thank you. And then, Jewell, you just touched on this, but for you and Stewie, talk about your new sneakers and how that can impact and inspire girls who look up to you.
I think that's the biggest thing, that we're able to inspire so many others to have a voice, to have full creative control of what we want to put on the shoe. It's super special. I even have my nephew. He did the insoles, so I think that's special too. He was involved, and just knowing that where representation matters, and having someone as little as them look up to me, say, "Wow, you have a shoe that's amazing. I can rock," and that hopefully inspires them to achieve their goals. And I'm sure that's the same for Stewie, and it's pretty cool.
All right, thank you.
Sue, Stewie, Jewell, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.